Hey guys, how you doing? Russ here asked the wizard almost. Whoa, there's my throat. Russ the wizard almost daily unplugged. The power of indifference. I use anchor. I call them anchor phrases. So I find it handy for me to attach a meaning, a concept, an understanding to an anchor phrase. When I was teaching classes, I had one that I think it was in the master's class, the Reiki master's class, and I called it the power of the compassion of indifference. That's what that was, and the connotation to that was that when a client would come in that needed some assistance and some support in solving a problem sort of thing, or attaining a goal or whatever it may be, is what we tend to do, I find, that if we, whoever we is, have decided that the problem is a big one, that the goal is unachievable, all that kind of stuff. So let's say they come in with a problem that they want to solve. So if we come at it from that perspective, well, this is a big problem, then we're actually, so think of where that vibrational set point is that we're coming at that problem from is, it's a big problem. Therefore, in our experience, it's a big problem. And so when I talked about the compassion of indifference, for me, what I meant by that was somebody comes in with a big problem, or if you have a big problem, or insurmountable obstacle, blah, 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 by sort of being indifferent means that you're not choosing that it's a big problem, you're not choosing that it's a small problem, you're simply not choosing. It just is. So then when somebody would come in, often if the problem is one that they've been struggling with for who knows how long, I purposely was not going to sort of approach it from the same perspective, vibrational set point that probably all the other people, including probably themselves, have been approaching it from for who knows how long. So it was kind of like, I have this incurable disease. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but in my role then as a practitioner, if I approach it like, oh my goodness, an incurable disease, oh, that's challenging, let's see if we can help, I'm not actually supporting introducing the solution, at least not with any degree of effortlessness. Boy, there's a big word. Which leads me to the thought that popped into my awareness, not today, but it kind of focused in a bit more. And the title of this, that I've called it the power of indifference, as it relates to anger. I'll just use that word. So this is referencing people, places, things, or events out here, right? And often is a combination. So stuff in your external world that we feel, I'll use the word angry about. When we do that, not that we shouldn't feel that, not that it's a very natural response to have to whatever it is. In a way, we're giving it power. Because whatever it is, we're attaching an emotion in here to it. So when you look at manifesting, right? So manifesting is, in the non-physical, you create the picture of your desired outcome. And step 2, right, in the manifesting process, step 1 is creating your perfect desire. Step 2, feeling it on the inside. Step 3, managing resistance. Step 4, inspired action. Step 5, celebrating your victories. So step 2 is feeling it on the inside. That's the key, feeling it. So you have the picture in your mind, but then when you feel it in your body or attach an emotion to it, that's where the power is. Doesn't matter what that emotion is. So when we think of person, place, thing, or event, combination of something out here that we've attached, I'll say anger, right? You can pick whatever one you want to it. We're giving energy to it. And in a way, when I'm just sort of thinking out loud. In a way, when we do that, it's still winning. It still has power over us because we've attached an emotion to it, whatever it is. So I'm wondering, if the first step, or if maybe a goal that we can work towards when we're in that experience, is choosing working our way to the point of indifference. So in this context, to me, indifference is, I don't have any emotion to that. I'm applying no emotional currency to that. Nothing. Now, here's the thing, and I'm kind of thinking about this out loud again. And maybe it can be either or, it depends, is when we get to that spot. So are we really not offering any more emotional currency to that? Or are we just simply numb? I don't have an answer to that. But I think if we can get to that spot where we are indifferent to it, at the very least, maybe it's a combination of, I don't know, numb and indifference, whatever. But maybe at the very least, it doesn't keep popping up in our awareness. We don't keep replaying the events, whatever it is, over and over and over. We're not giving it our energy. And maybe that's the first step to introducing, moving on to something else. Because if we're giving our energy to it, and when you think about it, the vast majority of time, it's not what's happening now, it's what's happened. In a way, we're still feeding the past, right, wrong, or otherwise. And so what if coming to that place of indifference is we're taking back that energy that we're giving to that, which then maybe allows us to use that energy to step into the new, whatever it is. I don't know, Neville Goddard, I believe that's the one I heard it from. He talks about the same thing I'm talking about. He's saying, I'm going to paraphrase, your greatest power to those things that have held you back, wrongs that have been done, all this kind of stuff, is by taking away your attention to it, which takes away its power. And I think maybe I'm saying the same thing. And so that maybe that place of indifference is the best strategy to win the war that we keep fighting with the past. Now that's very general, right? To win the war that we keep fighting to those, again, those things out here that those experiences now live in the past. So by choosing and working our way to the place of indifference, maybe being numb is sort of the crisis management, right? So it's almost like anesthetizing ourselves, which is sometimes that's important, just not that we get stuck there. So maybe that's sort of a crisis management technique. Maybe the indifference piece of it, we actually, and it's always a process, but we actually have taken away this currency, this emotional currency that we're feeding to that, whatever that is, which will allow us then to use that currency, a good way to think about it, to sort of invest in whatever the future brings. But anyway, interesting thing to think about. So I thought I'd just kind of share that. Ask the Wizard, almost daily. Unplugged.